assume it's when you like have to bring in equipment for a concert or what.
Yeah, it's a production thing. So I double checked. He works in theatre.
Okay.
He's got a show coming up. He does not want to write up the bump in plan.
Okay.
You have no choice, sir.
No, not true. You can cop the L, but you shouldn't. So I would. No, it's like that. Whenever anyone says you have no choice,
that's true.
I'm like, you always have a choice in
That's
life.
true.
If you ever get to a point where you feel like you
massively
don't have a choice, my DMs are open.
Yeah.
In all seriousness. But on this one,
Less so about the theatre bump in question.
exactly. Yeah. What I would do.
Yep.
Obviously, he's in theatre for a reason.
Yep.
I would go watch on YouTube or like through my DVD collection or something. Some of my favorite theaters, like I'd go back.
Okay,
I would watch myself like a Book of Mormon or.
Okay, so you're talking about the performances. I thought you were like googling good bump ins.
No, I would watch the performances, and then I would think, you know what? At the end of those performances, you hear the cheers, and they think that that's the singers, and they think that that's the lighting technicians. And they think that's the special effects people. But you know who it bloody well is? The people that do the bump-ins.
That is
Without
true.
the bump-in plan, none of this is happening.
Literally no
None
show.
of the applause is going through. And you've got a responsibility to the fans to put on the best damn bump-in you can.
I am inspired.
That was great.
That
was
it was a
fantastic.
motivational
I
speech.
reckon.
Yeah.
I almost want to write it for you myself, but I won't. I mean, you could also just do what everybody else does in this scenario. Just copy someone else's. They've probably got the same stuff. It's a few flats, 6 actors, a backup singer. You'll be fine. Next question comes in from Alexander Civil again.
Oh, yes.
I'll tell you what.
Repeat offender, Mr. Civil.
He just loves to be a part of the show.
I like it.
Is calling someone's personal mobile on the weekend for business-related items considered rude? How many emails can I send before it's annoying? I guess the gist is business communication etiquette.
What do you think? Because I think we'll all have either similar or very different opinions on what is rude. I think if you have a business phone and it's on and can be called, you can call it. Like the business phone is on for a reason. If they're not available, then they've already made that clear in emails. And then they would have said in that email, it's rude.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Like emergencies only.
Yep.
So like if they're available and they can be contacted, then I think that that's fine and it's their own fault if they don't want it.
I'm going to get darker on my answer here.
Oh, God.
I think this is actually like one of the leading causes of like depression
Okay.
in like middle professionals. Because I think, I always speak to my dad and he's like, what are you talking about? You work 9 till 5, then you turn off. I'm like, no, with the introduction of smartphones, no one works 9 till 5.
Yeah.
I get emails up until like 1 a.m. in the morning. I'm contactable 24/7. Like you're with me here.
No.
You're a freelancer as well.
I'm not only in agreement. I'm like, not only do you get emails until 1 in the morning, you then send me DMs at 1 in the morning going, I can't believe I'm still up. And I'm like, I know.
Yeah. So in all honesty, like to be successful at the moment, you got to be able to answer your phone.
Yeah.
So like it's not rude. Like just the way the world currently works, you're on 24/7 in every role you do, from data entry to senior executives. As far as I'm concerned, like you are on.
And then I would also add to that it sounds like you're in a position where you are the person asking someone in a higher position. You're contacting them. So the two things I would say is, one, they will tell you if it's wrong. They're not going to fire you for trying to do your job, so you're fine. But two, I would also say, like, is this really incredibly necessary? Like, ask yourself, can this wait till Monday? If it can wait till Monday, then leave it until Monday.
But if it can't,
but if
you're
it
on.
can't, it's worse for you to be in a situation where come Monday, they're like, why the hell is this not organized? And you're like, I didn't want to call you on the weekend, because they're definitely going to go, what do you mean you could have called me?
Yeah, and there's like always basic rules, right? As soon as you call someone, apologize for the inconvenience.
Yeah.
Like, I understand the Saturday, I'm so sorry. But this has come up, be short and sharp as possible, and get the information you need, then get out of there and like just get the job done. Like that's what I always say.
Send a cheeky text message as well.
Yeah.
Just hey, I got a question about XYZ. Do you want it now or do you want to wait until Monday?
Yep.
Boom. A-Ray7, how do you know when it's time to move on from a job?
Oh, Andrew Ray.
Mr. Rayzilla.
Is he trying to tell us
Snowball
something?
Snowball Esports mogul.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Love
A-Ray, I know you personally, so I probably can't answer this, but I always think you know before anyone else knows. Like when you wake up and that feeling's just in your gut, and I'm pretty sure everyone's had that feeling at one time or another.
Yep.
It's just better to get out of there.
Totally.
Yeah, I mean, that's the answer.
Go out of Blaze of Glory as well.
Yeah, Ari Gold style.
Yeah, burn some bridges, man.
Shoot some paintballs.
You only live once. Smite NZ on
Ooh,
LEC.
commentator.
They talked about what the best type of pie is. I think the OPL would be the ideal broadcast.
This
to
is not a
discuss this hot
question.
topic.
I'm the best type of pie. Next question.
Oh shit!
No, I don't actually. I just think meat pie.
That was a very good answer.
But what kind of meat pie?
Well, I like really good regular meat pie.
Okay.
But like, am I going to a cafe? Am I going to a side of the road like petrol station?
Yeah, good question.
Because that changes.
I
my
assume
answer.
he meant bakery pie.
I think. Well, I assume so because the LEC were talking about it, and
Yeah.
I assume they weren't talking about meat pies. But you're in Australia, mate, so we can talk about any kind of pie. So I'm putting all pie on the table,
Yeah,
including
so
Rusty.
steak, bacon, and cheese is my go-to.
Okay.
Like, very good pie. And then, if I'm having it at home, I like beef, red wine, and thyme.
Oh,
That's a good one.
that's a good one.
Yeah.
I like a curry pie as well.
Curry pies are good.
I will mess with the
What
curry
about steak and peas?
pie.
Yeah, I like steak and
Like
bacon.
Yeah,
mushy
yeah,
peas?
yeah.
Mushy
No,
peas
mushy,
are
mushy peas are amazing.
so
But
good.
the correct answer is blackberry pie.
Oh, you like dessert pies?
Oh, dessert pie. I
Yeah,
I
okay.
would live on dessert pie. You give me basically any fruit in a pie. Americans just get it, man.
Pie
Americans
floats.
just understand that
See,
pie is
but-
a dessert.
No, I love savory pies. Pie floats, though. I think that's what you're talking about when you have a pie with mushy peas around it and then
gravy.
gravy over the top.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's heavenly.
Forget about it. Look how relaxed I am just thinking about all the different kinds
do you know
of
the other good thing?
fruit pie.
So, not to turn this into a
Pecan,
cooking stream.
key lime.
No, not to turn this into a cooking stream. But if you make it a stew, always cook too much stew,
Yep.
and then just get a big casserole dish,
make a
get some
pie.
puff pastry, put it over the top, make a pie.
You can make a pie out of anything.
You can.
Absolutely.
Do you remember Titus? Made a pie out of a bunch of people. You can make pie out of anything.
Have you got another one for us? Or we...
Another Titus reference?
No,
okay, the final...
I'm enjoying these ones.
Well, I'll tell you what.
We can delay the next game.
Well, look, the final one, there's more, but I brought this one up. This was actually sent in like 2 weeks ago, and then I was digging through the emails. I found it. Jordan Butler says, when will there be a blind dating segment for the players that lose so they still have a chance to go home happy? Well, I tried, Jordan, and I got shut down by the man upstairs yesterday. Yeah, but I feel like it was successful. We learned some things about each other.
It's a great question, though, Jordan Butler. I really wish we could.
I'm going to very quickly... Oh, my God. Okay, we need to... Sorry. Yeah, we're delaying the game. This one just came in hot. This came in so hot. This one came in from Shush Anta Pilly. Yep. I work at a butchery, and I'm a pretty small person, so my colleagues keep picking me up and putting me on the shelves in the chiller where I can't get down. What tips do you have to help me put them on the shelves?
To put them on the shelves.
Or solve the problem?
That's not the solution I would have thought of.
Delete Facebook, lawyer up, and hit the gym. Yeah,
Well,
that's,
I work at
that's
a
it.
butcher, right? So you just keep your meat cleavers on you at all times.
Look,
You want to stay off those shelves? You stay it off those shelves.
and if you want to
You wanna
dispose of a
put
body,
them
you're
on
in the right
shelves?
spot as well.
I was gonna
no one's
say-
going to notice. If Titus comes in, he's going to be thrilled.
I'm pretty sure, like, lots of, like, from my knowledge of crappy Marvel TV shows,
Yep,
every butcher has, like, a meat hook that then has a machine that can, like, yoink people up.
that's true.
So maybe you can't shelve people, but maybe you can, like, just, like, get them as they're walking past, snag their, like, apron
Oh, that's
on
nice.
the meat hook, and then
That's nice.
suspend them. And then, then the shoe is on the other foot.
That's very good. I would also add that potentially, instead of trying to put them on the shelves, you could do the old switcheroo, walk into the chiller, they come in to put you on the shelf, you're small, you drop to the ground, crawl between their legs, and then shut the door. And you trap them in there, go home for the weekend. They
Or-
got meat in there, they'll survive.
Or put yourself on the shelf, and then when they go get a meat, just scare them.
Oh, that's
They'll
good.
never do it again.
Dress up like meat. Like that Hunger
Like
Games
meat.
thing where he paints his face like a rock, but paint your face like meat, and then just pop out at him. You're like, surprise! It's not meat, it's me. Time for the back of games like
me.
game number 4, Avant versus Legacy.
Sick.
Thank you. All right, yeah. Avant versus Legacy. Final game of the day. Final game of the weekend of Week 8.
Yeah.
Feels like this week has gone by so quickly.
I feel like
don't know.
we have had, well, yesterday we had a couple of stompies. We had
Yeah,
some long
fair.
games, but yeah, it has felt fairly quick, fairly swift one. Maybe we've just had such a good time. Time flies when you're
Yeah,
playing
maybe. I
Mulligan.
mean, I know you have.
Yeah.
You've been on Cloud 9 all this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Avant, if you didn't catch them yesterday, they are running a different lineup. You may see Dragku in the top lane. Also no Aladoric. So, yeah, Gunkrab in the bottom lane with Shock. That's what they ran yesterday as well. Chips in
Yeah.
the mid and Mirror into the jungle.
And remember, the Gun Crab did play Tom Kench. He played the support position, so Shock is there in terms of the lineup, but we don't really know what's going to happen with this draft. That first pick does actually make a lot of sense when you've got double top laners on your roster. Camille can be flexed all over the place. Of course, Sejuani is banned, so none of that shenanigans. But yeah, AV playing to their strength. And it is kind of important to, I think, set up this game with the two teams that played yesterday. Both of them obviously came away with a loss. But AV, by all rights, should have won that game. That was the most confusing game of the weekend yesterday, where they genuinely 50-50 to Baron, lost the game immediately when they were kind of winning by default, right?
Yes.
They were scaling up. They had the Corki. I believe they had the Ezreal, and they were sitting very pretty, but it was kind of weird. So coming in this one, wanting to go up on the up and up. And then Legacy had a tough loss, but there were tons of moments. They found so many engages, whether it was like a Rakan, they did play the Kiana, and they did find a bunch of fights. They didn't ultimately net them a win, but yeah, kind of a lot of good moments for both of these guys, and hoping to get the W here in this one.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with Legacy. It's just like they... Do you know the term, like an asymptote, right? Where like you have a line, you have the line, and they get like infinitely close, but can't
so
quite
close.
touch.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like for Legacy right now. Like they're asymptotically close to the win line, but can't quite hit the axis. And it's like it's frustrating. I am like to watch, and I imagine like 100-fold to play. You know?
Yeah.
To be so close every single time, but not quite be able to do it. That being said, playing into Avant today, is this the type of game, you know, like a wounded lineup that they could potentially take a game against, right? And like that has huge implications for Avant, but like also for Legacy picking up a potential win here today is big for the team.
Yeah, and also, like, let's talk about those implications, right? By all rights, like, taking a look at the ladder before this week starts, AV sitting in a fine position, and a 0-2 week is disastrous in terms of just closing the gap to the rest of the pack that are making that gauntlet run. But then you have, like, the bottom two teams in Gravitas and Legacy. They've already lost to Gravitas. If they lose to Legacy here today, that could be incredibly disastrous, so it's not going to be the situation they want to have here. Draft, we're already halfway in. Cassio lock-in for AV makes a lot of sense. I'm expecting Shock to maybe get that one on the bottom side. Kiana run back is going to be here for Legacy. They also went for the Elise, I believe, yesterday. Gragas can do similar things, but not quite to the same extent. But yeah, definitely early game options are available for both of these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Tam Kench and Xayah being banned away here as well. We'll see what Legacy's final ban will be towards Avant. And yeah, I mean, like, so yesterday they were basically playing towards like player strengths, right? It was like we saw Shock in the bottom lane with the
Tam Kench, yep.
Yep. Well, it was Tam Kench and Vel'Koz.
Yeah.
Good Crab was playing the Tam Kench.
Vel'Koz, yes.
Yeah. And yeah, it was just like, I liked, you know, like indexing into like what your team is in terms of like your strengths. Interesting Riven ban actually coming out here, which is obviously a possibility with Paprise. And yeah, looking towards Legacy.
Yeah, it's kind of curious. Maybe the Camille matchup, not so hot. You go up into the Riven.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Ziggs, okay. This is something that we've actually seen from, I believe,
Gun Crab.
Yeah.
He played it very early into the split, and they were just demolishing turrets left, right, and center. Camille, of course. Oh, Camille. Quinoa can be flexed in both solo lanes, so Ziggs could go mid. Kiana could go top, and then they could just go for a standard AD carry. Of course, this could just be in the hands of Praetor from the bottom side. We're not too sure just yet. Will be cemented as we round out the rest of this draft, but both of these teams can be weird at the best of times, so
true, yeah.
Nothing's guaranteed until the end of the day. That would be a curious pick.
That would throw a lot of spanners into the works. Okay, it's going to be Aatrox. Now, let's do some detective work here, Ejim.
Yeah.
Nautilus bot lane with Cassiopeia on Shock.
Yeah, like
Aatrox mid lane. Slash, like, Camille.
Yeah, I feel like Camille mid without Sejuani, probably not going to be it. Dragku on Camille.
Yeah.
Did face off against a Camille in the hands of Pabu yesterday. Had a bit of a roughie. Maybe he just gets the Aatrox again, like Comfort Champion. Camille does go mid. Maybe you go for a kill lane, like looking at what the bottom lane is set up to be. With that Fiora lock-in, it's going to be the Ziggs you expect, so maybe you can play like a double bruiser, just look to force time and time again. Yeah, weird. Super weird. I do know, just from solo queue experience, literally playing against it myself, but if anybody takes a look at their OPGGs, there's been Shock and Gun Crab playing like assassins in the bottom side.
Yep.
And if you want to go for like a Camille or something like that, that wouldn't be the furthest reach. If they do stick with these lanes, then maybe that makes the most sense. Shock comfortable Camille, comfortable Cassio, Camille comfortable there for Chippy's in the mid lane.
Yeah, and got to talk about that last pick Fiora as well into top lane. That's definitely turns a lot of lanes into skill matchups, in my opinion, and especially into Aatrox. So it's almost like saying, like, I know what you're picking, and I also know that you're new to the OPL, so let me show you a good time.
Yeah, right, because this is going to be Aatrox into the Camille yesterday, now into the Fiora. That is the kind of trial by fire if you've ever had one. Did get some early attention from Mira, and we'll see if he does look to replicate in this game, but... yeah, two different teams that do different stuff. AV are all about the team fight force, right? They have the Java, the Nautilus lockdown.
Yeah.
They want all of their carries coming flying over the top and Shock just being left alone, dishing out damage for the backline. Whereas Legacy, they probably want to play a fairly like split map to some respect, right? You have the Fiora, the hardest split pusher in the game. When you get towards the team fights, yes, you have the Rakan, you have the Ziggs AoE. There is potency there, but I think Paprai is going to have a lot of pressure this game in terms of getting things rolling in the side lane.
Yeah, and getting into game, we have Cyclone looking as dapper as ever. How are you today?
Thanks, mate. It's actually the same outfit. I don't know if you guys have noticed.
I've noticed. I actually really like it. The t-shirt under the suit jacket.
Yeah, it was just very efficient because I don't have to iron the t-shirt.
Yeah.
Right, do you have a whole wardrobe of all of the same blade and all of the same shirt?
Oh,
or
are you like a
is it the same
hardcore
Right.
minimalist?
Do you think I'm that much of a sociopath?
I'm
Don't answer
asking
that.
you. This
What
is
about
an
one of
interview.
those YouTube videos? It's like hardcore minimalism, live without furniture, Johnny Cyclone. Like,
Yeah.
I sleep on a wooden rug. A wooden rug? What's that? Who knows? We'll never find out. I went too far with that. Sorry, guys.
So Cyclone, talk to me about this composition right here. And actually talk to me about your team, because obviously we've had swappers right here, Shock and Gunkrab in the bottom lane. Like, what is it like for you piloting this champion select?
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a challenge. You know, we've got a pretty different identity than we did a week ago.
Yeah.
And I guess the main thing that we learned yesterday is that although we can play with discipline, you know, we were kind of behind and trying to scale, and then we kind of avoided fights for the most part, and then just lost the game.
Yeah.
Which, on one front, that's like progress.
Yeah.
But on the other side, it feels really,
Simultaneously
really bad.
heartbreaking. Yeah.
Yeah, and so we're just going, we want to start fights. We want to make sure we've got tools to do that, and so we've done that today.
And I guess that was going to be my first question. Like, genuinely, what was the response to that? Was it like, oh my god, guys, like, we were so close? Or was it more of the, like, this is disaster, like, we should have done it, like, by all rights, won that game? How was it behind the scenes at the AV camp?
I think the biggest thing was actually that there's not many times you hear players come out of a game and go, we didn't know what to do.
Yeah, okay.
And that was the response yesterday.
Yeah, okay. I guess that makes sense, right? Confusing call. Yeah, it turns into that sort of game. And okay, into this one, you mentioned just hard team fight composition. Is this as a response to like where you guys are at a roster? Was there even any sort of like prep in terms of like, of course there would be some prep into Legacy, but was it much more this week about like, okay, what is our roster? What can we play with these 5 players as opposed to let's pick team fight into Legacy and get the ball rolling early?
Well, it's not even about team fight. It's just about having tools to make things happen. Yeah. You know, we had like a lot of scaling and
and a big Corki, a big Vel'Koz.
Yeah, like we had a lot of damage, but we didn't have a way of like making things happen. And whether that happens in like 5v5 team fight or split push, like is kind of less important. It's more just about having some tools to like facilitate the big damage.
And talk to me about Draku. What's it been like with this player very late into a split as well? You know, how was that been?
Yeah, I think he's a good kid. I don't know him super well. I haven't worked with him before, but he's like got a good attitude, and he's very, very keen to listen. And like after every scrim, he's like got chippies coming over and like talking about the matchup, and they're like going through it together. So he's kind of like really leaning on the resources. He's not coming in like, don't tell me what to do.
Look at me, I'm sick.
Yeah. No, so he's like, I think that's like a really positive sign for him. So it'd be cool to see kind of like how he grows over the next couple weeks. This is a huge opportunity for him.
Yeah.
100%
late into the season. And the last question is kind of cheeky, I guess, because I may know Draku a little bit better than you. Has he been ousted in the AV lineup as a shit stirrer? Because he definitely is.
They're all kind of shit stirrers.
Okay. He fits right in.
Yeah.
Okay. He's not even unique. He's just like
one of the boys.
Okay, there it
Absolutely
is.
one of the boys.
So simple.
Perfect.
There it is.
Well, thank you for joining us, Johnny, and we'll catch you later.
Cheers.
That's the situation you want to be in.
Oh, flag, drag. almost getting this kill. Ooh, CC's underneath the tower, taking 2 tower shots, and we'll be good to go. And yeah, Chaz gets to live another day.
Yeah, I was talking about Dragku, but Miru found himself underneath the turret. Chaz is like, oh, fancy that one. Yeah, didn't see it coming. He's able to dodge out. And we have seen, I believe, Claire yesterday, like one single Kiana mid-game, like mid-lane, get ahead, like have early access to priority and make things happen. Every single other time, I believe we've seen 3 now in the OPL, which has been punished early, and Miru takes a look at it and is like, yes, let's put this guy down. Already burnt the flash. This is an ambitious dive. Guts is here.
Yeah. Oh, just immediately get it. First blood comes out for the Camille chip. He's backing away, takes the tower shot. Guts. Oh, he simply can't catch up. He would have been in the sweep as well. Disastrous.
And how did that happen? The counter gank is there. He's already in behind with the response. Bottom side, though.
Yeah, this is ridiculous, by the way. It was straight teleport into a play. Last Noxious Blast hits the Ziggs on the way out. In fact, the Rakan. And now Legacy are just pushed out of the bottom lane.
Because I'm genuinely here as the color caster, and I don't know. Like, Guts is there for the counter gank. You look at like a level, like what, 3 Jarvan. Looking for the dive in the mid lane. The Gragas is already there, but yeah, they lose Chaz. He falls down after early burning the flash, and Chippies does not die for it. And yeah, you mentioned Praetorth getting forced out of bot side with a nice hook from Gunkrab. Once again, going to be on the support position.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, absolutely, definitely a couple question marks for me as well. Hopefully we can just take another look at that and actually see what transpired. But, I mean, in the end, like, AV just kind of rock up with a kill, with no kill in response. And yeah, no matter how it worked out, I mean, it's a great start for AV.
Yeah, it feels good, right? Onto the right person. If you're looking at a roster that is somewhat in shambles, and late into the season, we've been asking like everybody behind the scenes, but you want your leader, your big playmaker, your big carry threat in Chippies to be ahead, to be able to force this game open and look for proactivity. You heard Cyclone mention all they want is the ability to force fights. This is going to be another one brewing. 6 members. Chippies goes in.
Yeah, turning into a 3 versus 3 very quickly. Nice double knockup onto Gunkrab and Chippies, but turning this one around now onto Legacy. Ooh, dodging out of the dredge line. And Chaz still waiting in the wings if he wants to re-engage. More than anything, wants to get back into his own lane.
Yeah. All 6 members rock up to the mid lane, and they all walk away with above 80% HP. It's a bit of a weird one. Dragku gets a very nice force out of Paprise, actually. It is the Klepto in the hands of the Fiora. We see this a lot with the Camille recently, just this weekend, but Fiora's going to take it here, and it's a very good start to the Aatrox lane. Dragon does get started.
We can hear some slapping.
Yeah.
But yeah, underneath that fog of war, AV have basically completed this dragon take already. Miru's just going to finish this one off here with the help of Shock. And that will be first dragon of the game. Also an Ocean. Nice timing on that one at 7 minutes. It's just a nice feeling as a laner, especially when you're top lane where you just don't see anybody and you're like, oh, now I just have regen in there. Cool.
Yeah, it feels incredibly good. Aatrox and Fiora probably have a bunch of inbuilt sustain, but now Dragku gets the lion's share, so feeling certainly good about that one. And it's interesting to see how this game kind of progresses. Already we've seen a lot of attention in the mid side, most of it from AV and then Legacy with the response, but whenever you do have a Ziggs on the bottom side, there is kind of that skewing of the game. Given that I think the mistake was made early and Praetorth did get forced out, it's not going to be like the priority Ziggs. Ooh.
He's catching Chaz right there. There's the ultimate across. Miru turning this one around though, with his allies already dead. Flag drag underneath the tower. The cask out from Guts was beautiful. And Miru, anybody at all, didn't get the last auto attack.
Yeah, half the kills go over to AV. Cancels the last auto, but certainly get what they came for. Gank cask, very nice. And now Chaz gets himself a kill. CS lead not going to be found anywhere. Gunkrab showing his face. So this has been a very active bottom lane. As I was mentioning, like a lot of the Ziggs bottom matchups are like, okay, yes, I bully out an 80 carry and then I get underneath the turret. As soon as it falls too low, I just demolish it with my W, and it is all about the poke onto that turret. But maybe the Mage v Mage lane, Cassio versus Ziggs skews it somewhat with the Nautilus hook earlier. So it's not going to be the trajectory, and everybody's just agreed. Mid lane is absolutely where it's at, and that's where all the action is.
Yeah, for sure. It's just, yeah, that was one wrong turn into a dredge line, but yeah, bottom lane's basically just turned into mid lane at this point. You know, supports just go off and roam. We've
got a River Nautilus, a River Rakan.
Yeah, I mean, this is actually back to like, you know, season 1 meta, and this is like, I'm not support, I'm a roamer, and they just go across the map, top lane, flash after Paprise into Cataclysm, and Dragku jumps in the pit as well. Yeah, he wants all of that, and Pathrise goes down.
Yeah, the commitment's there. Double flash. Miro locks him in the Cataclysm, and Pathrise does go down. Note he doesn't have TP, so this is going to be a demolish. Probably 2 plates easily here taken over.
Oh,
and
probably more than that, yeah.
yeah, huge wave.
With an
is
extra
gonna be
wave
missed.
coming in?
Yeah. Got the attack speed from the Jarvan. Given where he's placed that one, he's going to queue away, you expect. So, yeah, maybe going for the tempo reset.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is, like, Pathrise has just spawned. They obviously have 8 seconds of recall remaining, but if they stick around for another plate, you don't know where the jungler is, and then maybe it gives Grant's Legacy, like, control on the top side of the map, where they have just been losing is one of those weird things where there is that ebb and flow with League of Legends. So I like the play out of AV. They don't overcommit. The more time you spend whacking away on a plated turret, the less efficient it is. It just has more resist. So nice play, nice punish, nice gank, and walk away with the gold.
Yeah, you could potentially shoot for 3, maybe even 4 there, but that's the play that's just going to get you more net worth. Looking at Dracu, though, I believe he's just taking Wolves right now, is in the mid lane. Chaz trading off against Chippies, flag drag over the wall, and Miru stops Crazy from coming into the mid lane.
Yeah, tries to buffer the EQ over the wall. Yeah, it is weird that he actually just takes the Wolves on his way
With
to
my
top
tempo,
side.
I spend it on Wolves.
Yeah, he's taking a crab as well. Given what's happening bot side, maybe AV looking to make a play. Enemy blue buff spawn, bot side pressure, just looking to force back Praetor. He is on like 30% mana with no TP available, and all of Miro's bot side camps are up. So they take a look at the map, take stock. It's like, well, I don't realistically want to go top anytime soon. I have 3 camps and plays to make down here. So yeah, he's fine, just waiting for his wave to push in. Just a battle of efficiency there, and this is going to be like 2 good starts of lanes for the Aatrox in the hands of Draco, right? Like yesterday was the same thing, and then eventually did get outscaled, was isolated, and did make some mistakes as it treaded on. But yeah, working with Miru, new man to the roster, certainly making it work topside.
Absolutely, and like it's a very similar situation, right? But obviously with different players facing him. Like he was going into Pabu with like the playmaker, and at some point you just kind of like you make one mistake, and then it's just going to snowball on you, and no one's really there to help you. In this one, maybe he can go toe to toe with Pathrise, but Pathrise opts into the Fiora matchup, right?
Yeah.
So it's almost like saying, I'm going to try and repeat what happened yesterday's
Yeah,
games,
like similar identities, like the Camille, the Fiora, maybe Fiora significantly more extreme, less ability to force early, but as this game progresses, probably going to find himself in a similar scenario. It is interesting now that Gunkrab, trekking up towards topside, has the Moby Boots as well. Blind Hook's not going to net him anything, but Rift Herald is becoming the prize as 14 minutes gets closer and closer. The second Ocean is up and available, and they have had priority in bottom side on AV's hands the entirety of this game, so that could just be, let's go bot, let's force. Shock, though.
Shocking, there's 1 versus 1, forces out the stopwatch. Creative's gonna, walk this one off, but burning flash and stopwatch in the bottom lane in a 1 versus 1. Mid lane,
gets it.
Nautilus getting caught out, and he's just instantly dead to Chaz.
Yeah, and I say it every time, and Nautilus being defensive is the squishiest tank in the game. Gets thrown into the wall. Chaz just one hits him. Already has the Dirk, already has the Tiamat, and Legacy immediately committing to top side. They want to help Pathrise out.
Yeah, Pathrise is in deep. He's got the rest of the cavalry right behind him. He's turned this one around, but he's low himself. Has the riposte. Crazy jumps in, and Miro will get one in return at the very least. Dracu now trading off. This is a 2 versus 4 with already a kill. Black Drag back behind the tower, and here comes Chippies as well. Big damage coming from the Aatrox, and Chippies able to sweep up Chaz. Ultimatum onto Crazy, and Gut says, nope, I'm out of here. And Crazy will go down to the hands of Dracu.
Yeah, numbers disadvantage, and AV turn it around anyway. They just live for so long. Miro didn't even die to the Ignite. Now this turret, they did so much work earlier. A couple of plates left on this one. You see Miro already in the Rift Herald pit. TP available, dissuades any further push, but that's going to be the counterplay there. Mid lane gets picked on. Gunkrab dies, immediately respawns, walks topside. They turn this one around, get the Rift Herald, and maintain the gold lead. So another good early game for this roster of AV.
Yeah, and it's actually a very good early game, right? Like that into Herald, now looking to place that down into a lane, probably like mid or top, and that's just instantly either a bunch of plates or a dead tower top lane.
And because it's ironically a very similar situation. Remember the bot TP, Dracu turns it around, just whacking people with the Aatrox Qs. Crazy gets what would have been a double knock-up. Miro answers with a very nice Cataclysm, but they just really don't have the damage, so Miro gets himself to safety, and Dracu knows that Chippies is coming. Hookshot will get him into the play. He's able to just keep walking forward, has that self-sustain that the Aatrox, of course, does the healing. Super potent, and they've already used all their buttons. Once Gragas is in, he's in. Rakan is almost the same when he doesn't have anybody to dash to, so locked in the Hextech ultimatum. Triforce completed, Black Cleaver done for the Aatrox, and AV certainly coming online.
That's actually a great point. Yeah, it's the same play reversed, just flipped onto the top side of
Yeah.
the map here. So yeah, we'll see if AV have learned from those past mistakes yesterday into this mid lane. Chips is getting a lot of damage onto this mid lane tower now that the plates have fallen. And Chaz just has to respect it. He has the jungle behind him. Camille completely by herself. Shock also just pushing in the side lane. But
Yeah.
AV are getting everything from this just via information advantage.
And also consider that just the 1v1 that's been happening on the bottom side. For about the past like 5-ish minutes, supports have just been walking mid, walking top, walking back bot for a wave before they leave again. It is really just like a walk in the door, kiss on the cheek and back to work scenario. And Shock has absolutely been...
Chippy's just straight up dead in the mid lane. Not entirely sure how that happened, but Miru was also there, unfortunately unable to really help his mid laner.
Yeah. He's just dead. See you later. Simple as that.
Yep.
Goodbye. Flash gone. Shock. Soloed bot lane. Soloed bot turret. Going to solo a dragon as well. Second Ocean Dragon of the game here for AV. So kind of weird losing your mid laner and still having enough priority to take that one down. But given that the bot lane turret is dead, Ziggs has to go for a recall. We'll see what happens. So once again, there's 2 members of Legacy waiting in the wings.
Oh, okay.
Chippy's getting ambitious. Charmed, knocked up, thrown back into the wall, and yeah, Miru, really nothing he can do for his mid laner there.
Yeah, the story was already told when you see the hook shot started. And
Yes.
it's like, I understand now.
I'm in. I'm going forwards. Shit.
I am dead.
Goodbye. Yep.
Yep.
And
that was the
yeah,
end of Chippy's tale.
loses that one.
He's back
3
into the mid
kills
lane. You're
on the
respawning this game.
Kiana. He's actually a big deal
yeah.
though, right? This is... Chaz was able to find so many flanks yesterday and actually popping off in team fights when he found it. Has the dust plate already.
And
Tiamat
Tiamat,
completed.
yeah.
So had the Moby boots. Interested to see if he goes for the same thing to try and just like open up the map and find avenues. When you're taking a look at this one, only a single turret dead at 16 minutes. It isn't really like a Rift Herald game that you see where it's broken open early and stuff like that. So map is still fairly closed. Rift Herald now gets popped fairly late. Chaz has options.
I'm very entertained by the fact that, like Hermit Crabs, Praetor and Truck have just moved into mid lane.
It's my new home.
Yeah. But they will finish off this tower here, AV. Out of mid lane tower down very easily. Shelly comes in, will get herself a second charge, most likely.
Does she get 2?
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, well played there by Legacy.
Yeah, I proc into the Ziggs damage, is able to take it down. So a couple of item spikes being hit. We mentioned the Kiana is accelerated, but now bottom laners in the mage decarry position got themselves Archangels, got the Ludens, got the Sork Boots. They're absolutely popping off. So in terms of any team fight, if a big fight does break out, it can swing very quickly.
Yeah.
If Legacy, like, when they have these champions that go in, they go in face first. Like, Gragas doesn't engage with an ability. He engages with his belly. Rakan, exactly the same thing. When you look at the champions that AV have locked in, like, if you're running face first into a Cassio, that can be like a one-way trip to she dies, that's a team fight 1, or like Petrifying Gaze, you walk like straight back to your fountain. And the same can be said on the other side. Like, if they land the CC, the Ziggs over the top, there's so much here. Paprise.
Wow, Demolish destroys the tower. Now moving on to Paprise. Ooh, great timing on the riposte right there. Dodges out the depth charge.
Ooh.
Turns on to Gun Crab, but he jumps away, and Dragku just gets himself a very easy kill.
Yeah, Duke City from AV denying the ulti stacks from Paprise. Couldn't find the markers, and no healing means the Fiora is just going to fall. And that was just a sad situation. Sitting underneath his turret, like, I am fine.
Yep.
Demolish. Much like this one is going to be the name of the game. And as soon as the turret dies, left between nowhere to go and 2 members of the enemy team. Shockers. Weirdly enough, Legacy committed all of their members bot side. Remember, that was all 4, so they're just going to doubly punish on the other side. Ziggs makes short work of the wave, though, so cheeky play.
Yeah, but top lane, it's the same thing. You know, like AV in mid lane and top lane, like at least one of them was going to die. I mean, the Ziggs ultimate stops it from being 2 towers, but
Yep.
you know, AV with 4 towers now over Legacy. Like, Legacy are getting a play for everything they get. It's buy one, get one pre-season for AV.
Yeah,
And
and
find
this,
themselves something else.
this is like what happens in standard 1-3-1. It's like one of the
Yeah,
one of
right.
the gospel rules, right? It's not a kill game, it's not an objective game, it's a pressure game. So Legacy, they play the hard force. Like, yes, we want bot turret, we will take bot turret. It's like, okay, I'll concede. We'll just take doubly on the other side of the map. We almost broke mid. If there wasn't a Ziggs ulti, if that was a different champion, then that turret would have been dead to rights. Top turret does go down, so it's one of those weird situations where you are playing reactive, but when you can look for the double punish, just works out a treat. And now Gold lead is, what, 6.6k over their opponents right now, approaching that 20-minute mark, getting towards the Baron. They could look to play the split game. They have the Force if they want. They have the Nautilus, the Java, and they can look for these team fights. So AV really have an ocean of choices before them, and it's just about which one they want to go for and about executing.
I actually really want you to make like Ejim's 10 commandments of League of Legends now, you know? First one, split push, what you're meant to do and not do.
Second one, watch the ward video.
Watch the ward video.
Third one, if you haven't watched the ward video, don't progress any further.
Number 4, follow me at Twitter. @EjimLaw.
Number 5, only pick engage champs. None of this.
Yeah.
None of this nonsense. Like, let's head ram.
Yep, press
That was
R,
actually,
engage.
like, my career was summed up in one word. Like, Spooks one day just called me a head rammer, I think.
A head rammer.
And I was like, yeah.
Is that hyphenated for the one word and not the 2 words?
Oh, okay,
Head
sure.
rammer.
Yeah. Absolutely. We'll claim that.
Okay.
That was it, you know? Thresh, Ali, Rakan.
Thresh Ali, yeah, that's
Just
fair.
go in. Like, don't give me a karma. Give me a button.
Crazy. So losing all of his health, Miro jumping away, yeah. I mean, to be honest, I mean, like, it's a simplistic way of playing, but very effective in most situations, you know?
This is weird.
Yeah,
2
this
levels
is weird.
down, Fiora. Looking for the solo kill.
Oh, didn't manage to get the last proc right there. Does in the end, but now taking tower shots, and Drag, who does enough to walk him back to the turret.
Yeah, and okay, this is an important swing in the context of the game. You can see how deep AV walk into Legacy territory. Crazy was just on 20% HP, now gone back to base, healed up, but you can see if anything goes wrong, that's an immediately quick trip to the Baron, but in a much similar scenario to yesterday, Draco in the side lane struggling against the Camille, now is the Fiora. Paprise,
Yeah, Paprise is in danger,
has
though.
to be a threat.
In the words of Ralph Wiggum, I'm in danger. Because this is kill range.
Yeah.
Draku has ultimate now and Paprise is not. He has flash as well. If Paprise like literally takes any more damage, he is dead.
He's looking for the lifesteal off the golems.
Okay, yeah,
Looking for
Draku
the
just
goal
kinda
off the
gives it to him.
golems as well.
As you typically do.
Yeah. Wave crashes, minions. Gonna push in. What else did Ralph Wiggum say?
No, I don't have a lot of good quotes from Ralph Wiggum.
Me fail English? That's impossible.
Oh man, I'm glad we're part of the same generation where we can share some stories.
It's been so long since anybody got me on this broadcast.
Here we are, in the Millennial Cast. This is a safe space, Ejim.
Chippies
In
is
the
here,
lane,
though.
2 versus 1. I mean, Paprise hasn't gotten a chance to auto-attack yet.
Yeah.
Turns around, and Draku and Chippies will finish that one off very easily.
Safe space. They didn't give him the safe word and locked into the Hextech ultimatum. Paprise. No flash. No ability to skedaddle over the Dragon Pit means all of that side lane pressure is alleviated, and very important here for AV. That's a pick.
That is a pick. That's Gunkrab picking himself. Guts. Miro jumps over the wall. This is still a 3 versus 4, but Shock once again comes in with the Flash Cassiopeia ultimate, and it gets thrown back into the fight there by Guts, who will just die for his sins. 2 more kills over to AV, and Gunkrab is just the best beta in the league.
Yeah, somehow gets the fight they wanted. 2 members still available. Chaz, no ulti, but has Ignite, is scary. Ziggs, one of those champions, just throws garbage over the wall. Kiana goes in.
Coming in, looking for some kills. Gets 1. In comes Paprise from the top lane, though. Chippies is low. Can he finish off this kill? Because of the riposte. Oh my god, how is he not dead? Double kill for Shock.
But they do not have Smite. Chaz still can steal this if he doesn't die, and Dragku's going to slap him over the wall, so AV get themselves a Baron buff.
That was a grimy fight, Ejim. It was a lot of kills back and forth, a lot of low health bars. But Baron, in the end, does go over to AV.
Yeah. And this is the weird scenario, right? But take note, like, the Kiana ulti gone, and Ziggs ulti basically gets dodged out by any relevant member. The Magic Shield of Chippies eats some of it, Stopwatch and Shock just bails out. So this was in the 4 versus 5. They get forced on in their own jungle and use too many buttons on the pick on the Nautilus. He's just a support, gets 1 shot, but AV still find it enough to force the Baron, and now Gold lead explodes to 10,000. They have double Ocean Dragons already. Not going to speed up the ending of this game, but Baron buff on majority members.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
What? through that terrain, manages to grab Gragas. Like that doesn't seem right.
There's
That's not okay.
There's an old saying, it's the end of the skill shot. Every skill shot in League of Legends kind of looks like Blitzcrank Hook, where he has like a fist on the end of a very skinny pipe. And yeah, gets him around the terrain, locks him back, and it is the new age Gragas. Very squishy, no aftershock. Oh,
good engage. Triple knockup into the combo from Ziggs as well. This is perfect layering of damage here from Legacy. Shock also falls. Gunkrab turns around, but his team isn't there with him. Dragku with the flank though, and underneath tower is cleaning up on this one. Miru flashes away, and Chaz walks away from the play. Paprize on the run. Chippies and Dragku versus the world here. Chippies with a follow-up. Tactical speed. Oh, the damage out from the Precision Protocol was huge. And now Chaz running away from Chippies and Dragku was not there for the 2 versus 2, and we'll get 2 versus 1. A 4-for-3.
And AV get the lion's share of the kills, but they don't progress the game in regards to the Baron. This may just be the single turret going down at the end of this one. Legacy do buy themselves sun time. The entire weekend, even in huge gold deficits, they're very good at finding a fight. Huge engage from Crazy, gets a Ziggs ulti on multiple members, and if there wasn't a gold lead this big, then maybe this is a victorious team fight. As we take another look, everything landed. Unfortunately, no wall for the Kiana to throw into, but the last Ziggs bomb taking down Shock really did mean like the big start to this team fight, but then in comes Chippies, in comes Dragku. These champions, the Bruisers, just come flying out of the woodwork, and it is just incredibly difficult to win a fight at this point. Q damage enormous. Chaz tries his hand, but as soon as his teammate dies, it's like, yep, get me out of this one, please.
Yeah, unfortunate there. And it's one of those situations where you ask, it's like, okay, if everything lands from this team, do they win? You know, and the answer is almost invariably yes. But that we literally saw everything land there from Legacy underneath the tower, and it was not enough. Now a 11,000 gold lead here to AV, you know, and it does seem like, to answer that previous question, AV have learned from yesterday, right?
Yeah.
You know, this is a different outcome to what was a follow-up from that initial play in top lane.
Like, this has been 2 games, back-to-back good early games, and then confusion set in. This does not look like a confused AV. Absolutely, everybody on the same page, knowing what they're playing for right now. The 2 lanes, Chippy's left alone in the side lanes. Paprize struggling to deal with him as on almost the same wave. They're going to break the base in 2 fronts. This mid inhib just being conceded right now.
Yeah, this is a heck of a Baron power play right here. Chippy's, half health Paprize straight up. AV finishing off the middle inhibitor and looking towards his very low health tower in the bottom lane.
And when is the trigger going to be pulled? Guts almost having flash. Crazies is a while away. You expect that will likely be the cooldown, would be up in about 15 to 20 seconds. Is that going to be enough? Losing a single inhib is a doable scenario. Then you have like 1 more standing chance, but losing 2 for free is a situation you don't want to find yourselves in. Now, Legacy, all 5 members looking to defend this one. Redemption down.
Chippy stepping up, not quite enough damage, but anybody needs to just hit it and it falls over. Then Crab, let's see if anyone will step forward down. This is essentially a second inhibitor here, just going down for AV, and no contest out from Legacy because they really can't. And AV will back on out, and it's basically, where do you draw that line in the sand? You know, the age-old question, because otherwise the game will end.
Yes. Base in shambles right now. Baron in a minute 30. AV can play the slow game. They have the inhibs for it, right? Bottom side is broken, so they have the 6-man of the super creeps just pushing in. They can set up the Baron, look for topside control. If Legacy face check, you read it by the book. It's like, okay, we're strong enough to fight you if we walk up to the Baron. If you don't fight, then we get a Baron. It's kind of a win-win scenario, and Legacy backs against the wall. They've shown that they can find these fights. They're looking for vision right now with the reset of AV. They have a little bit of time, but Scry's Bloom is probably going to put an end to that, and nothing past their own Raptor camp is going to stick.
28 minutes on the dot. Crazy just wants any semblance of vision in his own jungle. That's a tall ask, tall order, yeah. AV just sweeping it constantly. Bottom lane, Paprize is able to step out and at least push the wave out, but with the inhibitor down, it's more just gardening, because at some point those weeds are going to come back. Crazy still just doing what he can as like an advanced scout, you know, the vanguard of Legacy, but eventually, the one thing is going to grab someone.
A scout needs is strong legs. I reckon Rakan has him. He needs to just leg it out of his jungle as soon as any one of AV shows.
Strong legs and a hard hat.
Yeah. It's a construction zone. Do not enter without the appropriate attire.
Yep. And this is very much top jungle right now. There should be signs.
Very
Around
deep
every
pink
corner
wards.
is a gun crab.
Yes.
Inside every bush is a Garen. Around every corner is a gun crab. Ooh, potentially getting a pick up the mid lane onto Dragku. He's kind of low, but now he's not anymore. And now he's chasing down the entire team of Legacy. Goes half health by 1Q out from Chippies. Pradiv locked in the ultimatum. Gun crab misses the hug onto the terrain. But Chaz unfortunately just doesn't have the damage here with the team to even kill the Nautilus when he's out of position. Paprise separated from his team.
And is he going to die? Chippy's on for the long chase. Kiana comes out from the other side. Legacy are still looking for the fight on two
This is
fronts.
so strange right now. They're like half-heartedly looking for this kill. Miru 1v3ing right now.
The
as Shock
Nexus
just
turret is
looking at
dead.
Chaz. And the
TP?
minions are just like, I've had enough of this. I'm just finishing the game. Dragku teleport into the jungle. Point-to-point teleport. Miru and Shock training off against Chaz. He's now trapped, blasted the wall. Pat Rise is there as well.
One's
in
down.
from base. Chippy's following up as well, but Legacy, while all this is happening, just passively losing the game. Paprise under attack, jumps towards the tower. Crazy there as well. Big hook shot coming in from Chippies. Collects himself the double kill. Moving on to the Nexus turret, and this will finally be it here from Avant as they look towards the Nexus. And they're making the best out of a bad situation as they look to take this game against Legacy.
Turning around what could have been a disastrous weekend in fairly dominant fashion. Early leads, hugs between the two top laners of AV right now, Chippies and Dragku. Having once again another good game on the Aatrox, but didn't even need the Baron to close that one out, right? They get the victory, find themselves a Legacy split all over the map. And you kind of said it, like Paprise standing between them and the inhib at the end there. I was just surprised he lived. He was like,
who lived,
yes,
yeah.
just
Like,
chased
he's back.
onto the other side,
Yeah.
enemy jungle territory, and they were just like, no, let's walk top,
Yeah.
like, let's get the fight going. The super creeps are doing work on the Nexus. Bit of a weird one to end, but they secure it.
Yeah, for sure. It was just very strange as like a chaser to Bomber's Mammoth, you know? It was just like a very different game. But
Yeah.
I think like in terms of, you know, the story for Avant, like huge here, you know? Like this is Avant lineup changed at basically the last minute. I don't know how more last minute you could get,
Yeah.
you know, until like week 10 roster swaps, right? And then pulling out a win right here. Very similar early game as you pointed out. And I think it's very important that we actually have a very quick follow-up, right? Like the reiteration between yesterday's game and today was night and day. And that's very important, right? It's almost like what Legacy wants to do throughout the split, but done overnight.
Yeah, 100%, right? And it was necessary to maintain their point on the ladder. They do not like nobody has head-to-head in the AV Direwolves matchup, but now they both rest, sitting on 8 wins, 8 losses, like bang smack in the middle.
Yep.
So yeah, like it was a super important victory. Like a loss, I was saying it like multiple times to Gravitas, then Legacy, would have been like a huge slump to a roster that like started this split off massively. Right, and yeah, not the weekend you would have liked, but yeah, bouncing back, we saw like early kill given over to Chippies. Swiper was on this couch earlier today talking about like, yeah, having that leadership in a good position just like settles the boys down. And you heard Cyclone in the interview, like we didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
This game was a different story, absolutely all on the same page. They're just chilling. That was a victory, yeah.
Yeah, and trying to get everything you can at this stage, you know, when you're trying to gun for potential playoffs. So, yeah, we'll see what Avant has to say as we send it over to Nick Boy.
Thank you very much, boys. Dragku, congratulations. How are you feeling?
Oh, well, great, I guess, because I finally got my first OPL win. Well,
Yep.
yesterday should have been an OPL win, but I kind of griefed. So, yeah, I really should have played better yesterday, because this would have been a 2-0 week, but I'm a troll, so.
So it was deliberate. Yeah, much stronger game today. What do you think happened?
Well, I guess the first game I was really nervous, because my heart just kept beating, but today it felt more calmer. Like I was just more used to the stage, I guess.
Yeah.
So I was just more comfortable.
Yeah, you were kind of
And,
thrown
yeah.
in the deep end yesterday. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot to learn in a very short amount of time. But you're now here and you're sort of settling in for the long run. It looks like. How have you sort of prepared to enter the team, and how has it been entering a space where you know, like the entire team dynamic has now kind of shifted?
Well, like the whole team has been really like helpful towards me. They've all been trying to teach me. Everyone's trying to mentor me. Like Chippy's been doing like a really great job trying to like VOD review all my games and just like helping me out. So I think that I'm gonna fit in quite well, and I think that we'll just slowly improve and become better.
And how do you feel you played this game?
I feel like I played decent, but I didn't play perfect. So I want to be perfect, pretty much.
Well, you went from a loss yesterday to a win today. So therefore, the logical conclusion would be the next game is perfect because of that excellent progression. So well done. Congratulations. Welcome to the OPL. And that's a good win for AV and a good night for all of us. Are you impressed with the cubes that your coach has made? You were green, right, Rusty? Yeah.
Good job, Rusty. Good job.
He's contractually obliged to say that. We'll be back after the break.
The Dirk already has the team at Legacy immediately committing to top side. They want to help Paprise out.
Yeah, Paprise is in deep. He's got the rest of the cavalry right behind him. He's turned this one around, but he's low himself. Has the riposte. Crazy jumps in, and Miro will get one in return at the very least. Dragku now trading off. This is a 2 versus 4 with already a kill. Black Drag back behind the tower, and here comes Chippies as well. Big damage coming from the Aatrox, and Chippies able to sweep up Chaz. Ultimatum onto Crazy, and Gut says, nope, I'm out of here. And Crazy will go down to the hands of Drag.
Pressure is alleviated, and very important here for AV. That's a pick.
That is a pick. That's Gunkrab picking himself. Guts, Miro jumps over the wall. This is still a 3 versus 4, but Shock once again comes in with the Flash Cassiopeia ultimate, and it gets thrown back into the fight there by Guts, who will just die for his sin.
Rain locks him back, and it is the new age Gragas. Very squishy, no aftershock. Oh,
Good
okay.
engage, triple knock up into the combo from Ziggs as well. This is perfect layering of damage here from Legacy. Shock also falls, Gunkrab turns around, but his team isn't there with him. Dragku with the flank though, and underneath tower is cleaning up on this one. Miru flashes away, and Chaz walks away from the play. Paprise on the run. Chippies versus, and Dragku versus the world here. Chippies with a follow-up, tactical sweep. Oh, the damage out from the Precision Protocol was huge. And now Chaz running away from Chippies, and Dragku was not there for the moving on to the Nexus turret, and this will finally be it here from Avant as they look towards the Nexus, and they're making the best out of a bad situation as they look to take this game against Legacy.
Turning around what could have been a disaster.
You gave me this when we were just 16 years old. Darling, cop up.
A little goes a long way at Macca's. Grab 24 Chicken McNuggets for just $9.95 every day.
You could breathe a sigh of relief.
One of the biggest size of all time once that Nexus died. That was almost 0-6 in a row.
I mean, that was one of those important games in terms of gauntlet,
Mental health.
pride, mental health,
Mostly
energy.
mental health. But yeah, that was one of the biggest wins for, like, you know, you need those wins at this stage for Gauntlet, absolutely. AV now can finally reset the momentum. You know, like, Legacy are the last place team. They've struggled to get wins. That's just true.
Except for
But-
against Order. They flog us all the time.
Except for Order. And you know,
That's the counter pick you're talking
Yep,
about at the beginning of the day.
I'm just happy that it bounced back a little bit. You know, the team looked more like ourselves even with the roster changes.
I would agree. I think that that was a really, really good game from Avant. I think they had control of it from start to finish. I do want to shout out Big Dobes, who I'm always critical of, but I think he had a really, really good Rakan game. Probably was the best performing player along with Chaz. But yeah, this something's not working for Legacy, and they've tried like everything.
Yeah.
Right. So you don't want to go too negative, but like when they were playing things like the Vayne, things like the Lucian, and they were giving like Predator the ability to flex, like that's when I get scared of them. Not when they're playing Klepto Fiora top lane and Ziggs bot. Like that to me isn't like talking about teams playing towards their identity. So I was a little bit frustrated watching Legacy that game. Not to take anything away from Avant, but I really think that Legacy can play better than that.
I really don't understand why for 2 weeks straight Praetor is on a mage.
Yeah,
Right.
I agree.
And like I know that he's a role swap and like he might be comfortable on them, but he's not just on a mage. He's like, we're gonna play Lux. Dobes is just going to play Pike and he's going to leave your lane.
Yeah.
So like I see that as the strongest member of my team is now going to be left alone
Yeah,
to
1v2.
just hold on.
Same as this game, and like Dobes played well this game. Don't get me wrong. You're going around the map. He was matched by Gunkrab, and I think that was a good tactic because Gunkrab obviously not a support. So if you're like crazy and you're like, hey, I think I can outroam this guy. I think I can drag him second to plays and get things done beforehand. That's a really good tactic, but I would still rather him just play like Lucian and try and like 1v1 outplay the Cassiopeia. You know, maybe even take something like Cleanse and just like at least give him the agency to be able to win the lane.
Yeah.
Because I know mid lane, that is one of those skill matchups that if you're a really good Lucian player, you actually will take.
Yeah.
First Noxious Blast misses, and you're inside the range of the miasma, and she can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
So I think like just little things like that,
Yeah.
right? And this isn't like, once again, I'm not overcritical of like the overall legacy thing, because this is certainly a building year and like all bring up the young kids and the infrastructural change, but it's just little things that when you look at them and you're like, that's a dejecting loss, because it really felt like one of their best players wasn't able to have a role in that game.
And particularly when we saw the narrative at the end of last split,
Yeah.
where it did look
Yeah.
like they were on an uphill swing.
Yeah.
It's hard to watch that plateau and then go back down.
On the flip side, I think that was one of Chippy's like really like Chippy performance games. Like all the action was around Chippy's. Like he made a couple of mistakes, but I like when Chippy's plays like that. He's one of those guys that I like to see get involved early. And you know, he went toe to toe with Chaz in obviously a new role. And then to see him bound out of his chair and get around Dragku, like once again talking about leaders, like that's a real leadership quality to me. Like when you go over and you're like making sure the rookie feels his first win and like getting behind him and certainly putting the pressure of the game on his shoulders.
Yep.
Like even off his first wave of priority, he went and swept Dragku's lane with the enemy sweeper and took a ward. And then sat like halfway between top and mid and was like, you can get your lane in now. Like,
Yeah.
I'm here to like shadow you.
Yeah.
Stuff like that is me like being like, hey, Chippy's understands what his role is in this game. He knows that he has to help the kid out. If they allow Dragku to get camped again, like this is game over. And
Yeah.
I think he did that really, really well.
I'd just say a captain's performance from Chippy's.
Well, he's got big shoulders, so there is enough to rest on there. I'm just saying he's got big, broad shoulders.
Draku?
No,
Chippies? Chippies?
Yeah. Chippy's like a big guy, right? Like every time I see him, he's like
He's
like
not a
more imposing than I
broad
expect.
man.
You wouldn't call him broad?
No.
You wouldn't call him broad?
He's got a really deep voice.
Chippies, get
He
in
does.
here. I want to measure you. But before we do, let's take a look at the results from today. Because our games are wrapped up. For those of you who are just using the OPL as a waiting lobby for the MPL, this is what you missed. Direwolves, takedown order, game number 1. The Chiefs, ruin Gravitas in game number 2. Mammoth can't stand up to Bombers for game 3. And Avant very handsomely take the win.
How many games
over
are
Legacy.
left for each team?
5.
5 games. So right now there is 1, 2, 3. There's 2 teams in 4. 2 games of separation between 4 and 6, and that's basically your gauntlet contenders. So
Correct.
With 5 games left, some gaps still need to be closed.
Absolutely. Let's look at those gaps right now with the standings as they stand. Chiefs number 1, Mammoth number 2, Bombers, then Avant. We've got Direwolves, Gravitas, Order, and then rounding out the pack, Legacy. So yes, there are some gaps, but there's still places to climb for quite a few teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Avant and Direwolves will be thinking one good weekend gets us back close to that 3rd place spot, dodge out a best of 5. And obviously Order and Gravitas, whoever takes that win next week will be the remaining team in contention for the 5th place spot. I feel like if you lose that game, it's going to be a very tough road to try and run back into the gauntlet. So yeah, really big weekend next weekend for Order and Gravitas to make that push.
Absolutely, and it all starts on Friday with the games. Let's take a look at what we'll be playing. It's League of Legends. And it is Gravitas versus Mammoth, game number 1. The Chiefs take on Direwolves, game 2. Bombers versus Avant for game number 3. And Legacy v Order, the Kryptonite.
It is.
Game
And
4.
honestly, this is the scariest. Like, I mean, just to talk from Order's perspective, right? Every other team has a really tough week, and Order run into Legacy and Gravitas. However, we've already lost games against both of them this season. So, like, if we hadn't, we're in Gauntlet right now. So we have to come out and play very, very well next week, and hope it's enough.
It's just getting spicier and spicier as we go on. It's all culminating at MEO at the end of the month. The Melbourne Esports Open. Head to melbourneesportsopen.com.au/tickets for your tickets, where you'll see 2 grown men
Eat a couch. Yeah.
Eat a couch.
Eat a couch. Sculpt on the couch. There's food making, I believe, at some stage. Cooking as well. Why not?
Yeah,
Let's
lots of
cooking
things.
now.
Lots of things.
Oh, do you know what I'd love?
What?
I think we can do this as well. I'm getting word in my ear
What's
when I
this?
don't even have
yeah,
my
yeah,
earpiece
yeah, me
in.
too. It's actually a bit annoying, yeah.
I think McDonald's are going to actually bring in their grill system,
Ooh.
and we're going to make McDonald's burgers.
We're going to... I would love that
I think
so
that's actually
much.
what's happening.
I would love that so much. And we can we pick like 4 people out of the crowd that we want to feed, and we bring them up and we custom
flip
make
pancakes.
it.
Because I'm a people won't know this, but I am a McDonald's machine.
Eating or making?
Making.
Right.
I am so quick. I used to run line 2 solo when I was a manager at Macca's.
Yeah, it sounds awesome, man.
I don't even know what that means.
more than
I
one.
have never made McDonald's in my life. I am chomping at the bit to try it, so I'm excited about that big frying machine dangling right underneath that couch. Speaking of McDonald's, a massive thank you to our sponsors. McDonald's, we couldn't do it without you, the official partner of the OPL. M-Wave, the official retailer of the OPL. HyperX, to hear all damn good sounds, the official headset of the OPL. And Cubes, the official cube of the OPL.
Wouldn't that be a unique marketing strategy if we just made it so the only way you could listen to the OPL is through a HyperX headset?
Don't give them ideas, because like that is exactly the kind of thing that if I worked at HyperX and I was watching, I'd be like, you know what?
Let's do that.
He's onto something. Pulse, you are a marvelous instructor. I feel like the Nick Plays League thing is there. Can we just get that off the screen for a second? Thank you very much. I can't make it a tower because they're all a bit soft. But we made well beyond what we assumed we would be able to make, and I feel like the quality was relatively high.
I've already tweeted, I am very proud. As Origami Dad of the broadcast, I'm honestly very happy with how this turned out. There was a lot of just great cubes.
Side angle your crane for me just real quick, because I can't see it on camera?
Oh, he's got
I've got a little one. I was trying to bounce on top of this.
He ruined my masterpiece, by the way. I can't get it.
Yeah, my apologies. I thought it was more locked in, but...
Look at him going and doing that while we made a cube.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and like this is
lesson 2.
We just smashed it. All right, it's time for MPL.
on my keyboard.
No,
What
it's
kind of-
never had one.
what kind of maniac does that?
We're live, by the way.
We're invisible.
Are
we're
we?
back.
Is this even
All right, I'm starting.
an esport if I don't have a second foot on my